In today's lesson, what we're going to do is we're going to use those trig functions that we discovered in our last lesson to determine side lengths. And actually, this is pretty cool stuff. So the first thing, though, we need to do is we need to use our calculator to find some trig functions. And what we're going to do is we're going to round those to the nearest 100th. So what I need you to do right now is get out your calculator. And I'm going to do the same. And before we start, though, we want to make sure we're in the correct settings, and that's important. Else you get some really weird answers. So let's go to settings. Let's go to document settings. And your screen should look like mine. Now, most calculators will default in terms of the angle. They'll default to radians. So if you're in radians, just change it to degrees. The other parts should look the same, or the other categories should look the same. So let's hit make default. Okay, and we should be ready to go. So I'm going to go into new document. No. Add calculator. And I'm going to use this trig button that's over here. So I'm going to hit my trig button. And the first one I need to find is the sine of 42 degrees. So I'm going to hit sine. I'm going to put in 42. I'm going to go over to my pi button. That gives me degrees. I'm going to close my parentheses, and I'm going to hit my enter button. Okay, so I get 0.669. So the answer I'm going to put in is 0.67. All right, so what I'm going to do in terms of time's sake is I'm going to enter these in, and I want you to copy in the answers. So the next one I'm going to do is the tangent of 76 degrees. So I'm going to hit trig, go over to tangent, 76 degrees, close the parentheses, enter, and I want you to copy in that number to the nearest 100th. All right, the next one is cosine. So I'm going to go tangent, cosine, 38 degrees. I'm going to hit my pi button, degrees, close the parentheses, enter. Okay, so we're going to type in that number, 0.79. I'm going to go to, let's see, sine of 15 degrees. So trig, sine, 15, pi button again, degrees, close the parentheses, enter. All right, so copy in that number. I'm going to go tangent of 88 degrees. So I'm going to tangent, 88 degrees, close, enter. And then one more, the cosine of 54 degrees. So I'm going to go cosine, 54 degrees, close, and enter. All right, so just something really important. As we said before, the ratios that we're going to deal with, the trig ratios, are going to be our sine, cosine, and tangent. Okay, and the other ones you will look at in other courses, except for the bottom ones we'll look at tomorrow. All right, so let's go back to our worksheet. Okay, so you should have these filled in. All right, so those should be filled in, those numbers. So let's go down to actually finding a missing side. All right, and this is where it gets pretty neat. So it says find x in each of the triangles below. And then it says round your answers to the nearest 10th. So what I'm going to do, and I started this strategy with you yesterday, I'm going to highlight the angle I'm looking for. Well, first I have to be in my pencil. So I'm going to highlight the angle I'm looking for. That's 37 degrees, or that relationship. That's important. After that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to label my triangle. So I know that the side opposite, directly across, is O. I know that the side opposite the right angle is my hypotenuse. And then the side next to the angle is the adjacent. All right, so what I can do and what I should do is I'm going to take a look at the side I'm looking for, which is x, and the side I'm given. All right, in terms of that relationship with the angle. Now that's going to be my adjacent and my hypotenuse. Now, before I even start, I should write down S equals O over H, C equals A over H, And then T equals O over A, Sakatoa. All right, now, which one of these relationships deal with hypotenuse and adjacent? Well, it's going to be cosine. So now I'm going to write the cosine, and my angle is 37 degrees, equals my adjacent is x, and that's going to be over my hypotenuse, which is 14. Now, just like any other algebraic problem, I can solve for x. Now, what some people like to do, which is absolutely fine, is they like to put a 1 down. Because what I know I need to do at this point in time is I need to cross multiply. All right, on both sides. So what I'm going to end up with is x equals the cosine of 37 degrees times 14. So I'm going to go back to my calculator and see what value I get. So I go back to my calculator. I need to get out of here. A document, no, a calculator. So I'm going to type in the cosine. So go back to Trig, cosine, 37 degrees, close the parentheses, and that's going to be times 14. Enter, and the value I get is 11.18. Back, so x equals 11.18. So my answer is going to be 11.2. All right, let's go to number 2. So number 2, what I have is 62 degrees. And again, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to highlight my angle. And then I'm going to label my triangle. Opposite the right angle, the hypotenuse. Opposite the angle is the opposite, or O. The side next to the angle is the adjacent. I'm just going to leave it at A. All right. At this point, I have X, and then I have 63. So that's my opposite and my adjacent. So which ratio deals with opposite and adjacent? It's going to be tangent. So I'm going to write the tangent of 62 degrees, always some angle. I should have written angle up here, equals my opposite, which is X, over my adjacent, which is 63. Okay, once again, you can put the 1 down if you like. We know at this point in time what we're going to do is we're going to cross multiply. So I'm going to have X equals the tangent of 62 degrees times 63. All right, back to my calculator. I'm going to type in trig tan I have 62 degrees close the parentheses. So that's going to be times 63. Enter. So I get 118.48 or 118.5. So my answer here, X equals 118.5. All right, let's go to our last problem. All right, same strategy, triangles upside down, but that does not matter. All right, the beauty of math is the rules remain the same. All right, so I highlight my angle, identify my side opposite. My side opposite is O. The side opposite the right angle is the hypotenuse, that is H. Okay, and the side next to it is adjacent. Okay, so once again, the two sides I'm dealing with are the side opposite and the adjacent. So I look back, opposite and adjacent is going to be sine. So I'm going to write the sine of 43 degrees equals my opposite, which is 32, over my hypotenuse, which is x. All right, this one's a little tricky, not really, but we're able to handle it, just a little more algebra. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to cross multiply. So what we're going to do is we're going to get x times the sine of 43 degrees equals 32. All right, now just be a little careful here. That's x times. We're looking to get x. We're looking to solve for x. So we know the opposite of multiplication is division. So we're going to divide both sides by the sine of 43 degrees. Sine of 43 degrees. Sine of 43 degrees. All right, that's going to be 1. So x is going to equal 32 divided by the sine of 43 degrees. Okay, let's go to our calculator. So I'm going to type in 32 divided by, go to Trig, sine, and it's 43 degrees. I'm going to close the parentheses, and I'm going to hit enter. All right, and I get an answer of 46.9. So I go back, x equals 46.9. All right, some good stuff today. Please make sure, and I want you to go ahead and write down your key ideas. Again, that'll be checked tomorrow. And then use your notes to do your check, your understanding. Very important that you get that practice. And I will see you tomorrow. Go Cats, go Knights.